questions. So one of the things that we did with the talent data was we mashed it up with our use case data that came directly from the use case tracker we launched back in February. And this was really interesting and speaks to the point that Alexandra started us with, which is that, talent needs to be an enabler of something bigger than just capability. It needs to drive outcomes. It needs to drive ROI. And when we did our first correlation between these two data sets, we were impressed to find that as you have more and more talent capability, we see more and more documented use cases. You see about twice as many documented use cases among the leaders in talent as you do from the rest of the index. But also, you're 1.5 times more likely to disclose ROI from those use cases. And you're 1.4 times more likely to define the use case as spanning multiple lines of business. So bottom line is it feels to us like more talent equals better outcomes at the end of the day. But at the same time, not everybody is on the same trajectory. It's not one size fits all, which is this theme that keeps coming up again and again in our conversations. And so I also wanted to look at basically how the talent stack is beginning to change, especially as we have more and more historical data and can do more cuts on a longitudinal basis. And one of the things that we found, focusing in on two capability areas, the implementation talent and the data engineering talent, is that at present across the entire index, there is a very, low ratio of implementation specialists to data engineers, about 1 to 8 across the index as a whole. But as you begin to grow your talent stack, that ratio begins to switch to be more favorable to that implementation talent. And there are particular outliers like JPMC and Capital One and Goldman Sachs that are making a lot of news about the scalability of their use cases across like the wider business that have this ratio approaching like 1 to 3 or like 1 to 2. It feels like that once you hit certain prerequisites with your supporting data architecture and your supporting data infrastructure, certain banks are then able to go to light speed. And I don't just want to focus on these outliers that are in the news. I really also want to focus on those banks that are hugging the x-axis and not achieving liftoff and not keeping pace with the leaders in the overall index, including BBVA and TD.